All right, this is second grade math lesson 12-2, measuring with inches. Okay, so this says the orange square is 1 inch long. Can you use 1 inch squares to find the length of the line in inches? So what we can do is we can kind of take our fingers and just try to guess. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 5 inches. And if you wanted to try and draw them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's close. Some of mine aren't quite there, but it's about 5 inches. You could also use your paper clip that's about the size and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to measure it. Okay, let's take a look at the back and continuing to measure with inches. Okay, you can measure the length and height of an object in inches. So if we have our ruler, we always start at 0, just like this, right here at 0 to 1 to 2. Okay, to measure to the nearest inch, look for the halfway mark. Those are the lines right in between, halfway in between 1 and 2. There's the halfway mark. If the object is longer than the halfway mark, you use the greater number. So if it's bigger, like this one, it goes right here, it's larger than the halfway mark, so we know it's closer to 2 inches. If the object is shorter than the halfway mark, the pine cone is about, we use the smaller number, okay? See, it's just a little bit over an inch, but it's not bigger than 1.5 inches. So we say it's closer to 1 inch than it is to 2 inches. Okay, this is use a ruler to measure which classroom objects are about 12 inches long. And again, you can do this at home if you need to, but things that are about 12 inches long, you can write down a list. But some ideas might be books, some plates that you might have, like paper plates, the sink, tissue box, are just some ideas of things that might be about a Chromebook. It might be about a foot long, okay? All right, so the height of a notepad, like some paper that you might use. So you can estimate, you're like, oh, it looks like it's about 12 inches. Looks like it's the size of our ruler. But when you actually measure it, it's about 11 inches. So a height or length, how long it is, the length of a pencil case, you can look at it and say it's about 8 inches, but everybody's is going to be different. So what I write down here will not be the same answer as what you write down. But when you actually measure your pencil box, you might see that it's only 7 inches. So you'll go through and you'll measure out your pencil boxes. And we have some other things that we're actually going to go through and measure. We're going to measure backpacks, cups, that sort of thing. Okay, so estimate the height first. You have to give an estimated yes, and then actually go through and measure it. So the length, that's the across the bottom, not how tall it is, the length of a book bag, I'm going to say is about 6 inches. Okay, I'm going to say about 6 inches. But then when I actually measure it, I'm going to see it's about 12 inches. Okay. For number 4, the length of a paintbrush. The length of a paintbrush, I think, let me see what my estimate is. My estimate is it's probably about 5 inches. But then when I go through and actually measure it, they're 8 inches long. Okay. All right, the height of a cup. And everybody's cup's going to be different. I'm going to say that my cup is about 4 inches. But when I actually measure it, it's 6 inches. But see, between 4 and 6, that's pretty close. This one was not that great of an estimate. I was a little too small on this one. I should have known it would be closer to a whole foot or 12 inches. Okay, the length of a pencil box. A crayon box. Everybody's crayon box is going to be a little bit different. So mine in the classroom, I think, is about 4 inches. But then when I actually measured it, it was 5 inches. It was a little bit longer than I expected. Okay, let's look at 7 and 8 in our higher order thinking. Okay, Jason measures an object. The object is just shorter than the halfway mark between the 8 and the 9 inch on his ruler. How long is the object? So it was between the 8 and the 9 inch. And he said it was just shorter than his halfway mark. So we go with the smaller number. So the object is going to be 8 inches. Okay. Gina measures an object the object is just longer than the halfway mark between the 9 and the 10. So hers is the halfway mark right here in the middle, the long line in between, halfway in between. Hers is a little bit longer, so it's going to be closer to 10. So it's about 10 inches. Let's go ahead and go on to our back page here. Pam says that each cherry is about 1 inch wide. Is she correct? Explain. Well, I'm going to measure. Now look, it's a little bit smaller, but it's past the halfway line. And she doesn't say it's exactly. She said it's about 1 inch. Is she correct? Yes. And then it says explain. Because it is longer than the halfway mark. So we know it's closer to 1 inch than half an inch. Okay, our vocabulary. Find an object in the classroom that measures about 6 inches. Write a sentence to describe the object. Use these words estimate and inches. Okay? I'm going to write about a Chromebook. I'm going to say, I estimate the Chromebook to be 8 inches, I'm going to say tall. Okay? So now when I go through and actually measure it, it is about 10 inches. Okay? So now there's my estimate. I used the word estimate and I used inches. And then I'm going to say exactly what it is. Okay? It's actually 10 inches. Okay? All right. Higher order thinking. Explain how to use an inch ruler to measure the length of an object. So we're just going to write how to do it. So you would hold up the ruler by where the object is to measure. Okay? Say, I would hold up the ruler next to the object to measure. Okay? And here's our assessment. Use a ruler. About how many inches long are the two stamps together? So I'm going to measure, so start at 0. It's about 2 inches. So my choices are 4 inches, nope. 3, nope. 2, yep. And 1 will not work either. All right, great job, everybody.